Hi traders, welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Friday, the 25th of August. Before we go into today, I just want to give you a quick reminder that next week, obviously we have Bank Holiday Monday, but from the 29th to the 1st, which is the Friday, we're going to be working on the Discord servers in the background, so there'll be no analysis for that week. We'll be restarting the analysis on the 4th of September. So just to give you a quick heads up there, just in case you didn't see yesterday's video, we've been doing a lot of stuff in the background with regards to a server, so we can give you up-to-date information sort of on demand. We're going to give you access to all this information and also live momentum dashboard information. We're also going to be building a little bit more out of that as well. So keep your eyes open for that. We'll obviously be sending you an invite to that once it is up and running. So let's get into today. Today is going to be a very big day in the markets. It is Jackson Hole, obviously, this week, and the Federal Chair Powell is speaking at 3 p.m. today. We also do have President Lagarde, I believe, speaking today. If we just click here, we should have, at 12, we have ECB President Lagarde speaking as well. Obviously, data out of Europe has been pretty poor. We saw the PMIs come in really low. We've just seen some German GDP come in at minus 0.2%, quarter down to 0%. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what President Lagarde says with regards to future monetary policy with the ECB. With this data coming in like this, would it be something where the ECB now look to pause interest rates rather than sticking to that sort of hawkish view of keeping rates higher? That is going to be something that the market's going to be looking into at 12, so we're going to probably see a little bit of action around that time. We also get another speech at 8 p.m, but the other speech that's going to be watched closely is that Federal Chair Powell speech. The last time he spoke at the Jackson Hole event, he actually discussed about hiking interest rates further, and that kind of sparked a little bit of this interest rate run in the markets. So going to be an interesting day today. Could be one to watch, especially going into Friday, into end of month flows as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And now we do have some action on the tables today. We have one highlighted currency, and it is the US dollar. So, you know, we've got dollar on the tables, but dollar's coming into a risk event today. It could be a tricky one to try and trade. Now, cable is one to watch. We've got pound as the weakest currency on the day traders table. It is still on the trend traders as S3. However, we are starting to break down some key levels now, so that might fade away from there, come onto the weak side of the tables, and if it does, maybe pound dollar could continue to the downside. But if I just open cable up a little bit and just have a little look what's going on here now, from the daily point of view, you can probably sort of picture a large head and shoulders pattern here. You've got sort of the left shoulder, the head, right shoulder, and now we're potentially trading through the sort of neckline of that pattern. Now, these patterns can occur at key reversal points, at key areas of resistance. So we came up into that 1.3 handle. You can see on the left shoulder, we then created the higher high with the head of the pattern. And then you've got the right shoulder coming in here. So that to me looks like we could see a bit of a breakdown, bit of a continuation. Now you can see the daily 200 moving average coming in at the 1.24, 2400 area. That could be an area of targets. We've also got this long-term trend line coming through here as well. So maybe we're going to see a bit of a move down to that point in there. You can see here as well on the daily time frame, we've got this kind of consolidation zone as well that price has now broken down through. So there could be some potential that 1.24 could be a bit of a level of interest. Now if I go to the 4-hour time frame, we're going to see that in a little bit more detail. If I go to the hourly time frame, you can see how the price has recently reacted to the 50 MA. So this was the day that we actually had the UK PMIs come out. So the UK PMIs came in softer. We saw a decline. We came into those lows. In fact, at that point, US PMIs came out lower, so we saw a bit of a reversal back to the upside, but we were capped at this 50 MA, so that's what we could be looking for again. You can see the 50 MA just coming down here at the 26.25 handle just through there. So you know, I wouldn't mind seeing price go and revisit that 50 MA there, reject it maybe, and then see a continuation to the downside. But we'll have to see how today plays out, or how today pans out, because if we were to see anything from Federal Chair Reserve Powell that shakes the market up a little bit, maybe he says, yes, we're going to start pausing rates now, and then in the future we're going to think of bringing rates lower, that might spark a little bit of dollar weakness and price could break back in this area, and we might see a move back up to the highest. So this is a day where it's kind of like this could happen, and this is what we'd like to see happen according to what the tables are suggesting. However, I am going to put a little bit of a sort of you know, caveat on that to say there is a potential that our analysis could differ coming into next week, considering it's the end of the week, it's the end of the month, and yeah, we'll see what happens there. So it might not even, you know, because me and Charles were discussing, it might not even be the best week to trade going into next week, considering it is August and whatnot. So that's why we're going to take the time out to build the service at that point. But if there's any crucial updates, I'm sure we will let you know there. But yeah, cable at the moment pushing to the downside. We could maybe even look at a little bit of a trend line area coming through here as well, just to add a bit more confidence to that. But yeah, I do quite like that move there, but we'll have to see how it closes. The weekly is still, I'd say, technically bullish in that sort of upward trend. The one spot 2650 area though is somewhere where we have found support. So if that does cave in, then you know the one spot 24.25 or the one spot 24 is looking quite likely there. Now another market that's quite interesting, obviously Aussie strong here. It is on the weak side of the tables, but Aussie strong, I can see the Swiss franc there as well, and I was looking across the board, and Aussie Swiss is just in a very interesting area. It's actually in a sort of extreme sort of area of support. So obviously the 57 handle or the 56 handle was sort of the zone that we marked out from COVID, and obviously we rallied, you know, 1600 pips at that point, and the market is now back down in that area. You can almost see as well we have like a really nice sort of bearish downward move. We've been actually trading this bearish downward move for a good while now, and now it's kind of come to a point where we're at an extreme area of support. We've got the bearish channel support as well coming at this point, so we might actually see a little bit of a bounce here from Aussie Swiss. We are, you know, well below the daily 200 moving average. We are, you know, 400 pips away from it. So if price was to come back and try and revisit that, it could be something we look at going into the next couple of weeks or so. But we'll see. Again, we'll see how this one closes. We've obviously got resistance at 5,900 as well. So it'd be interesting to see if this does develop into something, or whether it does continue down to the 5,500 extreme lows. So we'll see what happens with this one. I just thought it'd be something to make you aware of, considering that is the case. Now, if I was just to bring in a fib, and I'm just going to put on a what we call an extension level. So you have the 127.2, but actually that must be, sorry, one spot 27.2, and this is one spot, sorry, 127.2. Okay, so we have that number in there. You can also add the 161.8. 161.8. Okay, now these are what they call Fibonacci extension levels, and the 161.8 is sort of like the golden fib, and that can be an area of targets, but also the 127.2 could also be an area of target. Now what I'm going to do is just go from this, grab your fib, just go from that swing high on the weekly chart down to the swing low, okay, which is this low that came in at 5,900. You can see that price then comes back to the 61.8 of the fib, and then look where the 127.2 extends down to. So there's multiple confluences around this area that means that we might start finding some support. Now, I don't really put a lot of faith in the extension fibs, but when you try and use them in combination with other things, then it just adds a little bit more confluence, because what we're saying is that maybe traders that use the fibs on a regular basis are looking at that 127.2 as an area of interest. So what I'll be looking for now is, can we see sort of the 4 hour start a little bit of an upward trend here? The hourly is trading above the 50 at the moment, which is good. Can it continue to stay that way? If it does, then there could be some opportunities for us to continue to look for that move back to that 0 spot 59 handle. So just something to consider. The weekly chart, I think, looks quite clean, looks quite nice on this chart, as well as obviously cable as well. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Like I said, next week we're going to have a little bit of a breakaway just to work on that Discord server. I hope you have a good bank holiday Monday as well if you are in the UK, and I will speak to you soon.